Well, hey, Anya, thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you for letting me ask you some questions because I have been admiring you for so many years. And there's so many wonderful things that you've done for me. And I just wanted to be able to share with other people. So I just want to say thank you for taking time today so that we can get to know you better.
Well, you're so welcome. We've known each other. What did we figure out since 2022? So 3 years now. So known each other for
It
quite a while.
actually seems longer.
It does actually, in a good way. In a good way.
Yes, in a really good way. And I think that you've seen me go through some hurdles, and I've seen you go through some hurdles. But I've also we've seen each other go through some amazing experiences that have been good.
Absolutely, and always wanted to be partnered with one another and support one another. So.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, when I first met you, you were doing an interview with a coach that I had been involved with, and I really loved how positive you are, just how confident you are, and you were talking about doing like Facebook audits at the time, and I just, I work a full-time job, so I tinker with Facebook. I think I know what I'm doing, but I don't always. And so I loved how you shared what you do. And so before we get into the audits, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do, and also why were you like doing an interview with a coach?
Yeah, so my background is I started out like my career as a teacher. I became it when I first went to college. I actually didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was marrying a teacher. And what's funny is I used to, like when you're a little girl, like I used to play teacher, right? Like I would set up my stuffed animals and I would play teacher. So I guess at some point that was in me, and I became a teacher. And so I've always taught. Like that's just always been a part of who I am. So
You're natural at it for sure.
Oh, thank you. So I was an elementary teacher, or I became an elementary teacher, and then a middle school teacher, middle school counselor, high school counselor. I was a cheer coach, a basketball coach. I've just always been in that element. And then I owned fitness boot camps. And so what actually happened is whenever I've always been into personal development. And as I did that, when I was working with a coach, they were just like, you should really be a coach. And it seemed like one of those things that was obvious, but it wasn't to me. But they were like, that's what you've done when you've been in this space for 15 years. At that point, you've been teaching. You've been a top leader. You've been a top seller. You've been a top recruiter. That's what you've been doing. And you've just not monetized it, right? You've not done it outside of your teams. And I was just like, that is so obvious, but I've just never thought about it. And so that's what I was learning to do. So although I had, almost a doctorate in counseling, and had multiple, teaching degree, had a master's plus, went ahead and got a social media certification and, stepped into that realm, co-authored some books and had a podcast, and kind of stepped into, beyond just working with my own team. And so even though I had partnered with other people's teams and had done it for free, just went ahead and started monetizing it. And I'd had people say that early on, like people would pay for this. And I was just like, no, like I just did it. And so kind of became comfortable with, having people put a monetary value on that at that point was what I was doing.
Yeah, well, you should, take your skills and share it with others like you're doing, because I know how much you've helped me, and you've always been very affordable for what I've been able, because I know that if I were to invest wisely, which is what I do, what you've provided to me over the years has always provided fruit. So, and the key here is my implementation of what you've taught me. So.
Well, then that's true. That we always have to. The action is the key. That is absolutely always the key to everything.
Yeah. Well, So what took you into like your background in network marketing? How many years have you been doing that? And share, if you wouldn't mind, a little bit about, are you still doing network marketing or are you just doing coaching?
I am still doing network marketing. I love, we talked about this actually just the other day. You were talking about how, selling, I don't have a problem asking people to buy things if I believe in the products and I believe that they're helping someone. So I had someone, I was actually in, a networking group where you come together and everybody, like there's a plumber and there's an electrician and there's different people and you're like sharing people, like you're promoting each other. I had this one gentleman, he goes, I swear you could sell anything, like ice to Eskimo, like that saying, right? And I said, because selling is solving a problem for someone. So if there is a problem and I have what could solve that problem, like I want to help people. I'm a helper. Like that's the way I feel about it. So I think I'll always be, a salesperson, but I wouldn't want to be the type of salesperson where I'm selling just for the sake of selling. Like that wouldn't feel good. So I think I'll always have that element to me, where I am sharing, because I'm a sharing girl. Like literally, like I just moved into this, it's a 4-plex apartment. And so immediately my new upstairs neighbors, I'm telling them where to go to, for their pharmacist. Like I'm a sharing person. So I'm always going to have that element to me. But coaching, like I said, that teaching part of me is always going to, probably be the most important part of it, because it is just super, super natural to me as well. So, but how I started in ML, which was kind of funny because again, I'm 54 years old. So if you remember when we were growing up, this industry, although it's still, some people kind of poo-poo on it. So it definitely, when we were younger, it wasn't, people didn't really make that much money at it. And it wasn't viewed really greatly. I mean, and it was definitely a side thing. Like when my mama went to a Tupperware party, it was, like, I don't know. It just was a different view differently. And most people didn't make that much money at it. Right. And then like they gave everybody their discount. And so like whenever I was asked to sign up, my sister invited me to a party just to get like an extra gift. And when they asked me to sign up, I was just like, I was a little snobby about it. I was kind of like, I have multiple degrees. Excuse me. And I was like the first person to go to college in my family, grew up very modestly. So I don't know where I got this little air about me, but I just didn't really respect it that much. But then when I stepped into it and I saw what it did for my family, because I went through infertility. We had tens of thousands of dollars worth of debt that I was able to pay off with this industry. And then when they delivered me a car and they drove off and handed me the keys before they drove off, and I was like, what just happened here? And then I was traveling the world, and then I was helping other people do the same. I had a completely different respect for the industry. And not that that's what everybody does with this. It's not, but I was hungry and I worked super hard. And then when I saw that was possible, I wanted to help other people do it. And so that was my experience. And again, that's not everyone's experience. Because some people do it very part-time, and that's okay, because the vast majority of people want to make an extra $500 a month with this, and that's completely doable. But I needed to make much more than that, and I worked hard enough to do that, and that is possible to do that. So that's what I did with the industry.
So I'll probably get a little personal with you, and and you can't go back and say, no, I'm not going to answer you because right. But, it's my recollection that you actually put your kids through college, and you had a 6-figure, maybe 7-figure income.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, for many years.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, went through divorce, and after the divorce, there was a point, like there's been ups and downs, because that's the thing too. Like I remember when I first came in, the first, I took off, and at one point it was like, this always going to be this way. Well, then that company closed, and I had to start over. And, we had bought the big house, the 3,500 square foot house and lake house, all this kind of stuff. And that company closed. And then we had to sell that house, right, and start over. And then I got a divorce, and then I'm selling my bedroom suit to pay the rent. So like, you also, the real life is also happening, and
Mhm.
ups and downs. So at one point I had a leader telling me like, you're on this trajectory and it's always going to be this way. So it wasn't, because that company closed.
Mhm.
So like, you also have to be resilient and know that it may or may not always be that way, right? Because of life, or the how, whatever, the economy, or you get divorced, or whatever, like, stuff happens. And so, but I remember even after my divorce, and during COVID, my company, my business grew 700%. And this was post divorce. And then the first month that I didn't count down the days to child support, and I still had money in the account. And then I'm hitting six figures, and I'm like, again, I came from such a modest background. And I mean, I remember my aunt coming over and going, you told me you bought a house. You didn't tell me like you bought the biggest house on the block. Like, I mean, just like, what, and so,
Mhm.
and I don't say that to like brag, 'cause I mean, that's not where I'm at right now, because again, life has happened again. So
Mhm.
there's, but I know that I can do it because I've done it before. And,
Mhm.
and you have that vehicle to get there, and that's what this can be. And
Right. Well, and I want to emphasize the fact of what you have done and for how many years you've done it, and that you've done it once, you've bounced back and had to do it again, and
yeah,
maybe even three times, um, if I'm understanding you correctly.
yeah,
So I know a lot of people that we both have a lot of friends that are into network marketing, and social media changes so quickly right now, and nobody seems to be able to keep up with the algorithm. And what I've heard you're doing in your coaching, and then also with these audits, is you're guiding others to set themselves up for success by looking over their profiles, giving them tips and tricks and ideas and suggestions. And so I was wondering if you could touch base on that, about what you're offering, so that other people can actually get and do the same thing that you've done. How can they learn best from you right now?
yeah. And so I think one thing that has been one of my biggest gifts, I guess, over this, because I started back in 2008 online, or in this industry, and then online very quickly after. In fact, it's funny, which, Facebook lives are going away, and I just did a live about that.
Yeah.
And again, it's not something to be scared of. It's just, most
Mhm.
of them are watched within the first few weeks, and it's a great opportunity actually for us to go back and view them. And that's something that we're
Mhm.
my partner Nicole Gurney and I are offering to help people with actually right now too. But it's a great opportunity for us to go back and grab clips and leverage them actually. But
Oh, yeah.
I started going live very early, and I started connecting with my audience very early and building a big following very early. But one thing I learned even from Ray Higdon was that being real and authentic is your superpower. And one
Mhm.
of the things I early on was I was trying to be perfect, and I was trying to project this, and I just started being vulnerable. And that's what he said, being vulnerable is your superpower. So I
Mhm.
started being real and authentic and vulnerable, and people appreciated that. I started getting messages going, oh my gosh, thank you so much for saying that. I needed to hear that. And I think that's one thing that resonated with you. You were just like, oh my gosh, like,
Mhm.
thank you so much for, for just sharing that. I needed to hear the realness, just like I just shared about the ups and downs. Like, that's the
Mhm.
reality, right? And people appreciated that. They appreciated me sharing my story about my divorce and stuff with my kids and my health journey and things like that. And so, and saying the real stuff, like not candy, sugarcoating it and making it like it's all perfect, because it's not. And so I think that that's what I do, and what I do with my partner Nicole with our coaching, is that we ask the hard questions and
Mhm.
say the real stuff. We say it with love, as much love and always respect. but we are like, this is how it is. And we stay on top of things. We're always watching the trends and things like that. So we don't say what people want to hear. We say what needs to be said, and we
Mhm.
keep it real and we keep it authentic, and we help people also apply it to their real life. Like, and I think I know that's really the trend. That's what people want to see on social right now. It's like they want it relatable. They want it clear. They don't want to guess what people are what you're doing. And so what I'm actually doing right now is an audit and making sure that you have a clear funnel, that people know who you are, what you're doing, how you're going to serve them, that it's super clear very quickly what you have to offer them, whether you're their person or not, and that they know what the steps are to get the information that they need from you to convert when and if
Mm.
they're ready, right? Because they may have woke up today ready to buy and maybe not. Maybe they need more information
Mhm.
from you. Maybe they need to follow you more, but the steps in your funnel, and most people don't even have those steps in place. And so, so I'm going to come with fresh eyes to your page, to your profile, to your group, to wherever it is that you're trying to do business,
Mhm.
on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever, and on Pinterest, wherever it is you're doing business, and look at that and give you your opportunities for improvement in a very systematic way via video that you can go back and revisit, and and have you be able to go, and sometimes it's a very simple tweak. Maybe it's a link that's broken, that you don't even know it's
Mm.
something you need to change, and that really needs to be done quarterly.
Sure.
And so it's $100 that can turn into thousands, because if each of your sales is, your average sale is $200, $300. If I help you make one sale, 5 sales, 10 sales, I mean, that's going to turn into thousands of dollars for you.
So how do people get a hold of you? So if they want to do this Facebook audit, because I know that when I asked you to do mine,
Uh-huh.
and you did it, and then you sent me a video, which was so great. I mean, it was really cool because I still felt that was personal, and you went through everything, and you took time to explain and showed me. And so the implementation of what you shared with me, I'm still working on it, because I'm not really savvy on a couple of the things. So I've had to go out and get a couple of resources to help me, like
Yes.
cover photo graphics and things like that. I'm not like Canva savvy. And so I do know people.
Well, and
But
those are things that we can help you with too. And we can have, a complimentary discovery call to be like, okay, well, these are things that I need more help with, and we can give you an estimate, or other people can help you, or you can watch videos, whatever, right? I mean, there's more steps that can be done too.
So my first thought would be someone like me, where I work full time, or I'm not really tech savvy, and I
Right.
don't have a lot of time to implement what you just shared. I can get overwhelmed quickly. So
Right.
you're telling me that if I would just tell you, thank you so much, but also I need some help with this, and you can guide me in the right direction, whether you help me or you can lead me to who could.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So
So
we can.
yeah, no, I'm really excited about implementing what you shared. They were very valuable and things that I didn't even think of. And so I love that you and Nicole stay on top of the trends. I love that I don't have to do that. I love that you guys just do it. And I would love to tell people what's the best way to reach you.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, we'll just put a link below. I have a
Oh,
super
okay.
easy link that you can just you can pay right there the $100, and you can put your link, your Facebook link, your Instagram link, whatever it is, where you want me to check it. And I can just go right there, do it, and then send you it. Just literally, you can put all your information in to send the video, or we'll also put my messaging link below, where you can just message me if you want to do that and just ask questions or whatever. So we'll put all that below.
And so will you also put your coaching information there? Because like if, maybe someone doesn't want to do a Facebook audit, they would love to pick your brain about coaching. And then you could share maybe what you offer in the coaching realm.
We sure can. Yeah, we can put that. I'll just put contact information, but also we can put that complimentary discovery call. Like I said, 20, 30 minutes where you just visit with us, see what it is that we can maybe do for you, and it's complimentary, and just have a conversation and see if we're for you, see if you're for us. And if we are, then great. If not, we have a great conversation and connect, because you never can have too many friends, my grandma always said. So
well, I'm glad that I met you online. I'm glad that we're still friends. I'm glad for all the help that you've given to me, and you're just a joy to have in my life. So yeah, if we have to be friends online, because I know that we live quite, Idaho to Oklahoma, that's quite a way.
It's a ways.
But it doesn't feel like it's so far.
Idaho. I don't ever. I need to come to Idaho. Not when it's cold, though.
Yeah, I'll let you know when it's safe.
There you go. Well, thank you, Debbie. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, thanks for taking time to visit and share. And I hope that somebody can feel the value here and get that discovery call.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, we'll put everything below, and we hope to be in touch. Thanks so much.
All right. See ya.
Bye, guys.